Hello, and welcome to day 3 of my language learning challenge. So far I have been deciphering the alphabet, then I have been studying the parallel texts. The only text that I found in Armenian is the Bible, that I have a parallel of in English. And I have been studying basically sentence by sentence and trying to figuring out which word is which. But now I'm going to be showing you a different way of learning it, and it's purely by audio, by listening. So I'm going to be now compiling an audiobook that is both in Armenian and in English, a bilingual audiobook. So the way I have been doing the audio, as you remember from the previous videos, I have been listening to the audiobooks of Armenian New Testament produced by Faith Comes by Hearing, and they have produced audiobooks for thousands of languages, and I'm going to show you how to download them, because they are in the public domain. You can download them from their website directly. So if I click on here, faithcomesbyhearing.com, we go to Audio Bible Resources, MP3 downloads. I pick the, well, first let's download the English Standard Version, New Testament, dramatized version. I fill in the details and click download. And okay, that's downloading. Let me go now to pick Armenian, and again I'll take the dramatized version. So now it's downloading. Now we just wait until it's downloaded. Okay, they have downloaded. Now that I have them here in this folder, let's just open them. Alright, so this is basically Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts, Romans, everything. I'll take mostly only the narrative. So I'll copy the files that are only the narrative. So Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and Acts. I think that will be sufficient for now. I'll just copy them here. Now the same thing I'm going to do with now English. Let's do the same, let's copy them. They have very similar, they have all standardized file names, so it will be very easy to just, if I paste them in, from what I understand, if they are sorted by name, there will be one in English, one in Armenian, one in English, one in Armenian. Right, I don't know which one is in English. Oh, and even look at that, English is the first one and then the Armenian. So that's perfect. I already have a perfectly interlaced thing. I can now just take these, copy these into my MP3 player. Matthew, and paste these here. Alright, I'm pasting. This is Matthew chapter 1 in English, Matthew chapter 1 in Armenian, and so on. Yeah, so this way you can basically listen on any of your devices offline. You can, or if you want, you can still stream, but you can put it on the phone, on an MP3 player. You will be able to listen first in English, to remind yourself of the content, and then listen in Armenian or in your language. These are all very standard audiobooks. They're all in the same format. They are dramatized in a very similar way. They have pretty much exactly the same special effects, so sound effects that are there. So you can, these are all pretty much identical audiobooks except they're in a different language. So this is really an excellent way of learning a language. Let's just have a listen.
John 1.
Okay, so that's John 1.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Okay, next.
Ավետարան ըստ Հովհաննեսի, առաջին գլուխ։ Սկզբից էր բանը, եւ բանն Աստծո մոտ էր, եւ բանն Աստված էր։ Նա սկզբից Աստծո մոտ էր։
Okay.
John 2.
John 2.
On the third day there was a wedding at Cana in Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there.
Հովհաննես երկրորդ գլուխ։ Գալիլեա հասնելու երրորդ օրը Կանա քաղաքում հարսանիք կար։ Հիսուսի մայրն այնտեղ էր։ Հարսանիքի հրավիրվեցին
Yeah, and then
John
3.
3. Now there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. This man came to Jesus by night and
Հովհաննես երրորդ գլուխ։ Փարիսեցիների մեջ Նիկոդեմոս անունով մի մարդ կար, որ հրեաների իշխանավոր էր։
So that's basically how it works. I have them now on the headphones. Yeah, so now I can go out, go for a walk, go into nature, somewhere else, and just keep on listening to English and Armenian. And yeah, that way I will be learning my Armenian in the background. Learning also how to pronounce things. Yeah, so, it's better always with audio because that's the real spoken language. Language is mostly spoken, then written. So yeah, so that will be my method for a few next days. It won't be the primary method. It does not replace comparing texts in writing, because that one is faster. But comparing texts is also limited in that you don't hear the real, just by looking at text, you don't hear the intonation, you don't hear phrases, they don't, in a natural language, thoughts are composed into phrases, and then there are those, well, we've invented those commas and full stops, but the intonation and everything gets lost in writing, and it gets recovered when a native speaker speaks it. So this is what I'm going to be doing now for the next few hours. I'll probably go for a walk somewhere into nature, and maybe I'll see you there. Maybe I'll record something from there as well. All right, so I have been walking around in a park and listening to the audiobook of John chapter 3 and 4 in Armenian, and I think what I've learned from chapter 3 is that to know, or we know, means is gitenk. I also figured that there appeared that with him, not with him. So it's like if God, no one can do these things if God were not with him. It's che lini. So maybe lini. I remember lini appeared also in the Lord's Prayer somewhere. So I'll have to go back and look at it, but it seems like I have more data about that word lini. There was again something about being born from water and spirit, which is again jur was the water. Again in chapter 4 there was a lot of water again. The chapter 4 also had, there was also again gitenk, because we worship what we know and you worship what you don't know. So that's again about knowledge. Maybe it's a Proto-Indo-European cognate. Gnowo is I know in Proto-Indo-European. So maybe beginning with a g, that's something to do with it. Who knows? Also, I heard a word when the Samaritan woman was asking Jesus, how is it that you, a Jew, are asking me for water? And there was a word that I remembered from my childhood, uzum. I think that word means how do you want, or asking. Yeah, so maybe here's something to do with asking. How is it that you want from me water? Uzum, uzumes, or something like that. You want. And then there was also there was also a word in chapter 3. How can a man be born again if he is old? Nicodemus asks, and that can. That ability, or how can it be done? And also Jesus says you cannot see the kingdom of God. So that cannot is chikarel, or something like that, chikarer, and the and you can is something about karel. I'm not sure how exactly that's pronounced, but something about that. That's some progress, I think. Quite encouraging overall, even from just listening. I'll have to go through the text again, but that is, I think, the method is much better when I have it on a loop. I listen and try to figure it out myself, and then when I go back to the text, it will all make perfect sense, and that will be a very solid learning experience. So we'll see.